tale of two individual martial artists, the very best in the world, bred for combat. Greatness is in their genetic code, a journey beyond anything they had ever imagined. A true test of strength, courage, will. One man on a quest to regain what he has lost, something so vitally important to him, while the other is desperate to rediscover that killer instinct. Two of Bellator's very best on a quest for greatness, immortality, and $1 million. This is the Bellator Welterweight World Grand Prix Final. Douglas Lima versus Rory McDonald 2. As we expected, this fight was an instant classic. It was intense, it was visceral, it was terrifying. When we take a look at some of the footage, you feel it right from the beginning when these two are looking at each other. You know you're in for a special fight. Rory's trying to cut Douglas off early. Whichever direction he goes, he walks him into a weapon, like right here. Pink, overhand right, walks Doug into it. Then he started to catch the kicks, or at least time the kicks, and work his wrestling game off of that. Get the kick, move him to the ground, get on top, and here he's establishing inside bicep control so he can elbow over the top. He's doing fantastic in rounds 1 and 2, but then the leg kicks come out. That's what Douglas Lima is all about, landing leg kick after leg kick, all high up on that calf. This is the big one. Rory's moving his feet together, and Douglas times this kick on one leg. Pink smashes that calf. Just another look at it. This is just brutal what you see here. Kicks it right through that. And then he gets on top of Rory, starts kicking the leg from the top position, goes down, and dominates him on top. The whole fight had changed in this sequence. Rory had to hold on. And when he came back, would he be able to get Douglas down? Well, he tries right away. But this is a key turning point right here. Douglas will reverse him, pull up on that arm, and turn him like a steering wheel, end up on top. Now we're in round 4. Rory is all beaten up. Douglas is on top in the mount position, and then there's that leg. Man, it's all swollen, it's inflamed, it's beaten up, it's broken apart. Even if he got up, would he be able to work on it? Well, he does get up, and he did get Douglas back down. Then he's dominating from the top position for the rest of the fight. He showed a ton of heart and a ton of guts, a ton of grit to be able to reverse this. We had an instant classic on our hands, one of the most special and beautiful fights you're ever gonna see in your life. All the other 6 fighters were thrilled to be a part of this welterweight Grand Prix, of course. But we were watching Lima and we were watching Rory. In retrospect, I would not have wanted to be whoever was going to draw Douglas Lima first. This guy was a whole new kind of intense, a whole new kind of driven, obsessed with defeating whoever he had to defeat and going all the way to the end. And who does he draw? Cobb. Oh, yeah. When Doug waded into round 1, man, you didn't want to be whoever he was facing. Of course, Cobb is one of the great martial artists in the world, and this was a wonderful martial arts contest. But for Doug, it was something more. It was just a fight. It was ornery. He was aggressive. This was a statement contest for him. When we take a look at some of the footage from round 5, he's controlling that wrist. He was doing it to be able to strike, and that's his preferred method of attack. But he was going to will himself to this finish no matter what it took. And you see it, you can feel it in the way he's ripping on this neck, grinding, taking that seatbelt control, and then stepping his leg through. And most guys won't attack the back here, but Doug is going to take this. He's not just going to find his way through it and use technique. It is technique, yes, but it's also aggressive, driving up, tearing down on that neck as he does so, and then pressuring the side of the head, literally folding it over the radius bone as he cuts off the blood to both sides of the neck. He was going to take this, he was going to finish it. Statement fight, statement finish. Doug choked him unconscious. Unbelievable. It was wonderful. So you know Rory was watching that fight, and you know Rory felt that intensity. You must be able to sense when somebody is aggressively pursuing you, like Doug Lima was with Rory McDonald. Rory might have felt pressure to make a statement of his own, and he was facing somebody very, very serious, a serious veteran, a dangerous fight in John Fitch. So Rory is coming off a beating, literally a beating at the hands of Gegard Mousasi as he fails in an effort to go for the middleweight belt. Now he has to defend his welterweight strap against all of these fighters as he's looking at Douglas Lima rampaging towards him. It must have been intense, and that fight against John Fitch was a tough one against a tough veteran. And the footage tells the story in this one. Rory gets his hands going early, putting together combinations. He's sophisticated with his hands, and he's landing on Fitch. He also is using feints, the fake right hand hand here. It'll get a response from Fitch, and then the kick to the face. And this is a rough one. Look at this. Bink. John Fitch is special. This is what you got to deal with. Right there in the face, and he still catches that leg, which is unbelievable. And that intensity is what Rory had to face in this fight. You take a look at another variation in it. The fake right hand, this time the knee to a brutal area underneath the armpit. And once again, Fitch is still aggressive through that. John Fitch is a tough fight and a very, very special and intense martial artist. And we saw Fitch start to take Rory down and control him. It's what John Fitch does. He makes it tough and he makes it complicated. You see right here, he's going to open Rory up in these two directions and then hammer him. This was a tough fight for Rory McDonald and a great fight for John Fitch. Fitch had his moments and he had long moments of control on top of Rory, beating him up. That fight, the way it ended, it was very difficult to say who would be the winner. And in fact, there was no winner. It was a draw. But Rory McDonald would move on. So Douglas Lima is obsessed with getting the belt back, but you have to think he was just a little more motivated for Michael Venom Page. Michael's flashy, Michael's exciting, Michael's kind of a loudmouth and he's overly playful. Douglas is all business, and you could tell that Douglas was highly motivated to smash this guy. So Douglas Lima, he's one step closer at this point to his goal of getting back that Bellator welterweight title that he loves. It's part of him. It defines him in part, and he wants that badly. He makes that statement fight against Koreshkov, and then he gets the chance to fight one of the most flamboyant guys going, undefeated, very confusing, very innovative fighter in Michael Venom Page. And my friends, this fight was a masterpiece. You know, MVP was able to land on him early. If you watch, Doug is stepping just slightly, and you'll see that one change, that instant change as MVP comes forward with the touch and the overhand, right? Bink, and right there. Doug is wobbled, and you see it in him. And Mike saw it as well. Maybe that's why he got aggressive to finish. And you'll look here, the detail, the subtlety is beautiful. When this foot goes down, watch the change in their two bodies, right there. Doug is now kicking as Mike is aggressively moving forward, and he kicks out that leg. He goes flying up in the air, very similar to when he put down Rory with that kick. And then here, the key is to step back and to measure. You only get one shot at this one. Bink, landed it perfectly. That was a viral moment. It was a very special moment for Douglas Lima, and it meant that he was going through to the final to get the chance to fight to get back his welterweight belt. So remember, Rory was coming off a draw against John Fitch. He just barely held on to his belt. And now he had to face young Niemann Gracie, of course, part of the legendary Gracie family, a real master on the ground, but young and fit and aggressive and smart. He saw it as his time. This was going to be a real test for Rory. When we look at some of this footage, it really tells the story. Here's Niemann climbing and trying to get that sweep. He's got the hooked leg, pendulum the leg, and then trying to come over top and end up in the mount position. Rory resists, but Niemann catches just a little texture of that glove. He can either throw his leg over, or in this case, put shin against head, and then hyperextends the arm. Rory has to backstep to get out of it. Rory's staying with Niemann, and he's able to win these positions. And you see right here, this was the difference. Rory pressuring here, he can strike around, or he can strike underneath the armpit. But the difference in the fight started to be Rory's aggression. And here on the feet as well, of course, Rory now throwing to the body. This also confuses opponents, makes them think maybe he's going to move to a takedown, but instead, bink, right hand over the top. So Rory started to move out front a little bit, and as he wore Niemann down, he was able to get the takedown. Look at this foot. He's able to step in behind and create a ledge and then turn him. At this point, he's in control. He's taking the fight to the ground in ways that he wants, in positions he can control, and he can wear his man out. And ultimately, that's what Rory McDonald did. He wore out Niemann Gracie, he came on stronger as the fight continued, and he left as the champion. But we were all still wondering, where was Rory at? And the question really wasn't answered in this fight. But Rory carried on and is still the welterweight champion. Man, chilling when you think about it. On one side, Douglas Lima, very much defined by this journey that he's on right now. The journey to get back what was taken from him, something deeply important to him. And you know exactly who he is. He knows exactly who he is. On the other side, you have Rory, somebody with questions, somebody who's changing, somebody who's experiencing growth and change as a martial artist and as a man, defending this title that he now loves against the man coming to take it from him. It's a compelling meeting of two very, very different martial artists and very, very different human beings. You feel it in your flesh, you feel it in your blood, you feel it in your bones. October 26th, Bellator 232. This is gonna be sick. Enjoy the hostilities, my friends.